Hello, everyone, and welcome to Aligned Almost, the podcast where we talk about navigating life, healing, and becoming more aligned one step at a time, even when we don't have it all figured out. This is episode 12. My name is Denise.
And I'm B.
And today we are going to talk about why we are here on Earth and why we chose to incarnate.
Yeah. Why the fuck we're here.
Yeah, why the fuck we're here. And I will preface by saying I am not like a soul contract expert. I do know of a really good one. And that's essentially how one of the things that slingshotted me into spirituality was going to a retreat with somebody who specialized in soul contracts. And so here we just want to talk about, I guess, the fundamentals of why we incarnated in our beliefs that we are all here for our souls to evolve and to learn something. And once you figure out what that is and you start to embody that, you really do start to live your best life.
Yeah. And I think it's actually so fascinating because I think I started thinking more in like a soul contract lens within the last couple of years. And it's really cool to be like, okay, so we're like these souls, right? And we're just having this human experience. And then at one point, like, a bunch of us got together and we're like, all right, we're gonna like do another Earth incarnation. Like, these are the things we want to experience. These are the souls we want to experience these things with. And like you and I, right? Like, we got together up there, over there, wherever the fuck, right? And we're like, yeah. Let's do this. We're gonna have a fucking podcast. We're gonna like meet at this really pivotal moment in both of our lives. And like, I think it's so cool. And it makes like life makes the challenges feel a little easier to navigate because you know that there's a purpose behind them. And like, totally. We chose this.
Yes. So every relationship that we encounter, every experience, we all chose that. And there is some stuff that is determined by our decisions, right? But I feel like at the end of the day, you can still, like, whatever is for you will come. And you learn to walk the course if you want to. And I think that's one of the things that is important to emphasize is like there is choice, and you can also choose to not evolve and live an unfulfilling life. And I think sometimes that is what happens, and people continue to incarnate. And I don't know if you can explain that with a little bit more clarity. But for me, once I realized that I was here for a purpose, everything just became more clear and everything started to speed up. And for me, it was, as I mentioned, I decided to go on a spiritual retreat after I was seeing a spiritual counselor for a while that helped me like get out of depression. And I really just wanted to stop making like terrible relationship choices and choices in general in life. And so I found her through a podcast, and her name's Mads, by the way, and you can find her on Instagram. I'm just going to shout her out, but it's Andora, ENDORA.inc. I swear she's like a master with soul contracts and just an amazing human in general. But so she had mentioned to me, like, and she didn't say it explicitly, she just kind of phrased it in a way that I would figure it out, that my purpose here on Earth was to figure out who I was outside of relationships, romantic relationships, and outside of being a mother. So for me, my purpose here is to serve something greater aside from that. And I feel like intuitively I am not going to meet my divine partner, the person that I'm supposed to spend the rest of this life with, until I fully embody my purpose and my mission, and that's to help people, help the collective, help women, really to empower them to live the life that they want to live, and to not put up with bullshit in relationships. At the end of the day, you don't need to water yourself down. You can have passion and safety, and that's where those things I feel like people feel like they have to choose between a safe partnership or a passion, and you can have both. And I will prove that. And
yeah, you will.
Yeah, I know that with like wholeheartedly, I believe it. And I want to say I can't wait, but I can, because I need a little bit more time to be honest.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting. I, by the way, need to get a reading done with her because you just talked so positively of her, and I really love her content. And I feel like I have a pretty decent idea of like my soul's purpose. And I know I've always known, like, from even when I was like a little kid, that I'm like here to like help. I know like I'm meant to be a healer in some capacity, and like that could look like energy healing, which I do, but that also could just look like this kind of work, right? Like where we're sharing and guiding in a way. I actually saw this really interesting piece of content. I think it was Dolores Cannon, a clip from one time she was talking, and she was saying how when we incarnate on Earth, I think specifically to Earth, it's like we're going to school. We always call it Earth school, but we're here to like, we have like a certain grade that we're here to experience, and it's like we can choose to like work through that and graduate from that, and then in the next lifetime like we take on the next grade and like so on and so forth. But a lot of us like don't, and a lot of us have to repeat grades, and I'm not fucking repeating this grade, I'll tell you that right now. Like, I don't know if I want to come back to Earth, to be honest. Like I may be done here. I feel like Earth is kind of ghetto, not gonna lie. Like,
right? Yeah.
It's pretty ghetto here.
It is. And they do say that, so all of us chose to be here. And the thing is, we chose to come for a reason. And again, like you said, some of us aren't going to figure that out in this lifetime. And you'll see people that continue to make the same mistakes. But I also want to get your take on this. I feel like some souls are so far removed. Like they have no, like, they're just, I don't know how to explain it, but they like operate like assholes in the world. And what is their purpose? Is their purpose to help us elevate? Because I don't think that they give a shit about doing better. There are certain people that just really, they don't give a fuck. They're just here for whatever quick high, and it doesn't even have to be drug. But, you know, it's like they operate at the lowest frequency. They have no self-awareness. They don't have any desire to improve. They don't have a desire to necessarily help people. They're here for like greed and surface level shit. What is your take on that?
So I feel like there's like a few different ways we can like take this, but if we go with like the belief and understanding that we're all like souls, right? Like none of us are like we're all kind of the same when we're like stripped down to just our soul. People like that, I feel like, are new souls or younger souls or less experienced souls, because if you think about the human experience, right? People like that, they kind of act like toddlers. Like, yeah,
they don't get their way.
They want to have temper tantrums. They're like, no, this is mine. Like, there's no self-awareness. Like, so at a soul level, they're kind of like a toddler. And like, they just don't have the soul experience. I want to say life experience, but it's beyond that, right? And I think I also heard, I can't remember who was talking about it, but they were saying how Earth was created for this purpose, to like, for our soul's evolution and growth. And it's like, there's been so much of this like darkness and dark energy. And it's like, a lot of us have come in too at this time to like transmute that and work through it, because we're moving to like a new Earth, and like a lot of the like archangels and stuff that were assigned to work with the souls here on Earth are moving on to this new, like, getting ready to move on. And so that's a little like out there for me. I haven't been able to wrap my head around it completely, but I think like Earth, I feel like we're getting to this like culmination point, because it seems like things, it's like the darkness is getting darker, but then also like the light is getting lighter. And like,
that's true.
It's almost like we're living in two completely different realities. But it's really like, it's really out there. So it's hard to wrap your mind around sometimes.
It is. And I would love to eventually have, you know, somebody come on the podcast that specializes in soul contracts, so they could really explain these things in depth. Yeah. But I think at the end of the day, it's just understanding that all the relationships that we encounter, the jobs, everything was something that your soul contracted. And again, I think that there are different avenues that you can take. And I know, for example, I always use I mean, I've mentioned a lot that I got divorced, but I could have chosen to stay, and my soul would not have experienced what it needed to in this lifetime, and I would have stayed in a safe relationship and just, you know, did the whole boring job and marriage that I wasn't passionate about, and just stayed in that until I died, which is what some people choose. And then they're like, come back in another lifetime, because of course we believe that we have many, many lives until our soul gets what it needs to out of Earth, right? And so I didn't choose that path. I chose this one. And one of the things that has helped me is, as I'd mentioned, is like the relationships that I've encountered post divorce, and they're not like real relationships, but you know, the romantic involvements that I've had were all something that I wanted to learn. Like, it was all, they were all contracted. And when I look at it that way, I really look at them in a different lens. And I will say they have been instrumental in everything I've learned. They've been in my soul's evolution from the first guy to the very last. And it's just, I have a different perspective, right? And so I don't think that those humans like vibrated at the same frequency that I did, but I think that I'm getting, you know, as I've learned now, I can make better decisions. And I'm definitely in a place where the things that used to excite me aren't exciting me anymore. And that's huge, because I used to be down for a fun date. And now I'm like, all right, maybe I don't want to waste my energy on that. And I'd rather just like nourish my friendships and wait until somebody that is actually exciting on a soul level comes. And I've not had that yet. And maybe it's because I need more time. Actually, I know it's because I need more time. So, yeah.
Yeah. And they always say like relationships are really our biggest, like you learn the most and grow the most through relationships. And I don't even think that it has to exclusively be romantic relationships, right? Because I experienced similar. My like 2 serious relationships, one engagement and one marriage, both had a very similar like theme. And I was like, you know, once I got out of the last one, I was like, oh, like I literally repeated a cycle because I didn't I didn't do the work, like, and they were both abusive, and the second one was worse. It was longer. It's actually really interesting. I have a thing for 3s, like the number 3, like it's just always been my number. My birthday is July 3rd too, so I don't know, 1993. Like there's just 3s, and so the first relationship was, I think, almost 3 years. The second one was close to 7, so like 6.5. And I was like, okay. Oh, no, wait. The first one was 2 years. And the second one was 7. Whatever. The second one was like 3 times as bad and as long and like just all of this. And I was like, okay, like in hindsight's 2020, right? But I'm like, oh, like this, like I really didn't get like the lesson the first time. And like, you know, I was just trying to avoid like dealing with myself and my things, and threw myself into another relationship, and the universe was like, you sure you want this? And I was like, well, let's go. Like, and, you know, but oh my God, I learned so much from that relationship, and it's weird, but like, I'm really grateful. Even though I experienced terrible things, I'm really grateful for it because I can see how much growth that it like led me through, and I can see why my soul chose that. And like, I really like needed that to like come home to myself and be like, no, like, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this for a 3rd time. Like, this is enough. And, but you learn so much. But I do think like there needs to be times where you're by yourself, and like you learn a lot then too. And sometimes you need those reset periods, because I know for me, like in the past, like I didn't ever give myself enough time between to like come home to myself, like to look at things, really.
Yeah, and I think it's important for people to understand that if you're experiencing the same issues in relationships, you are part of the problem. You are 1,000% part of the problem. It is not the other people. You can't sit there and say, why do I attract the same man over and over? It's because you're not learning. That's what it is. And there's something that you're not facing, and it takes time, and it's going to take not finding Band-Aids. And what I mean by Band-Aids are these fillers, these men or women or whatever you're into, because you don't want to feel the loss, and you don't want to feel like you really have to, you're going to have to face yourself. And that's where I think so many people make the mistake that they're like, oh no, I must just have bad luck. I'm just attracting the wrong people. It's not luck. It's you in something that you're not facing. And I will say, like, when I got out of my marriage, the first, I would say, serious relationship I had was extremely abusive, like full on. I don't think he had a demon attached to him. I think he was a demon. Honestly, like it's like that. Like that's where I learned how aggressive I could be, because people think like when you encounter an abusive person, I was also like acting ugly because I was like, oh fuck no, I've seen how this plays out and you are not going to fucking scare me. And I acted in ways that I wasn't proud of, but I was just like, there's no way that you're going to put me in this fear-based thing. You think you're going to, I will mess you up. And I ended up, you know, that ended really badly, but thankfully I got into healthier dynamics. And what I mean by healthier is they weren't physically abusive. It was more emotional abuse that I was dealing with. And then I learned I would never deal with physical abuse again. So I have learned in every single one of the relationships, and the last two were very similar to one another. So I think I wasn't learning with those two, and I ping-ponged between the two of them until I was like, enough is enough. And I just really want to point out a really fun fact is that their names all started, the first one was B, the second one was C, and the third one was D. So whoever's name starts with an E, what's up?
Get lost.
And my ex-husband's started with an A. So I went down the alphabet, you guys. I'm just saying. I noticed that the other day when I was running, I was like, A, B, C, D, literally chronological order.
That's wild.
That's fucking wild. Just saying. I just think I need to skip a little bit of letters, you know?
Yeah, maybe try like the second half of the alphabet next time.
Off on a tangent though, but yeah, all that to say that it was something I needed to learn. It was not dealing with any form of abuse, be it physical, emotional, doesn't matter, and to really choose myself. But as much as I want to say that I've taken time from dating, I haven't taken enough. I go and I'm like, oh no, maybe I'll try again, and maybe I'll try again. And so this time, I'm saying it out loud because I feel like that'll help me to be accountable, but I really want to take a step back because I'm not finding fulfillment in the people that I meet, even if they're hot, even if they're fun, even if they're not. Like, it feels empty. It's like having, I don't know, like 3 glasses of wine, and the way that you feel after that, you're like, well, that was fun, but I feel like shit, you know? Mm-hmm. It takes me 3 glasses. I don't know.
I haven't had wine in like a while, but yes.
Whatever. It's just like anything that feels good in the moment but isn't good for you. It's like, it's not. And I was learning things for myself, and maybe like this was it. I needed to learn that I need to take a step back, because it's just, I don't need to look for it. Not in dating apps. We already know, like, we're not going to find somebody on those.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not for everyone. I'm not saying that you won't, whoever is listening, but it's not. I intuitively don't feel that that's where I'll meet my next partner.
And like, you know, like if you've got that intuitive feeling, like, you know, and but it's hard, because it's like when you know you're like meant to be in a connection, and you have like, when you have the awareness that you like signed up for like a deep soul level connection, romantic soul level connection, like you have that like longing and that yearning, and like we're old souls, like we've done this too many fucking times at this point. So it's like you have that reference point. You're like, in past lifetimes, like I remember what that feels like. I remember like how it like, and it's like you just like you want it so bad, and you know, pre-healing, right? You're like wanting it from like an unhealthier place where like you maybe are like more codependent, and like you feel like you need it, and like if you don't have it, like there's something wrong, and it takes a lot to heal. And the abusive stuff is so hard too. Sorry, I just want to go back to that really quick, because even when you are the one being abused, it really does make you into something that's so ugly and so like not yourself. And it's like, when I look back at the ways that like and it's reactive, like I think it's called reactive abuse, like, or responding, I don't know, it's something like that, but it's just like, it's like I don't even know who that person was, but it's like you're in this like fight, flight, freeze, right? And like sometimes you have to fight. I am not like a physical person. I've never like been in a fight. Like I like, you know, sometimes I could probably say like some mean words. Maybe I could probably get that. Like, you know, I'm not gonna like, I've never been like that. And so I didn't like having to like fight back for my own, like to protect myself and my body. Like that was, it was really hard. And it's so hard to get out of that, because it takes just like an incredible amount of strength to be like, I don't deserve this. I don't care how long this person's been in my life. I don't care like what we've experienced together, our plans like for the future, anything like that. Like there's no like it's so hard. I'm like going off on a tangent on this, but like it's so challenging to get out of that. And like it's like unless you've experienced it, like you don't really know like the strength it takes to like tell yourself, because also like with the mental and emotional abuse, like they're telling you that you deserve that life and you deserve the abuse, and so like to like get yourself out of that, it's so hard. So if anybody out there is like dealing with that, just know like we get you and you got this, and nobody deserves to be treated like that. I don't care what kind of abuse it is. Like
yeah, no, that's true. And I think for me it was a little different in that I didn't feel like I deserved it per se, but there was a part of me that always wants, for better or for worse, I always want to see the good in people, and I would hang on to the good. And so when things got like volatile, I just reactively was the same, because I didn't want him to think that he had any control of like how, I didn't want him to think I was afraid of him. At the end of the day, I might have been a little bit, just because he was unpredictable, and I mean would get physical to the point of like, again, he like choking and stuff like that. But I wasn't in that like battered woman state. I was in like aggressive, you're not going to do this to me state. So I mean that probably escalated the situation. So anyways, all that has taught me, like I've always wanted to see the good in these men that have treated me poorly, and from his it was physical, the others it was emotional. And so that's been, I like completely cut, like I have no desire, like I don't want to wish anything. I just don't even like to think about his existence. I guess I'm just not there. But with the other two individuals, there's still some level of affection there. And maybe it's just because on a soul level, I know that they taught me a lot. And so I don't hate either of them. I sincerely hope they figure it out and their souls evolve in the way that they're supposed to evolve. Will I be there to see it? No. I mean, I talk to one of them here infrequently here and there, but he's literally the same person. And it just makes you realize that it wasn't me. Like, I always like, why didn't he just commit to me? And I'm like, he's still out there floating around doing his thing. And I don't know if he's learned yet. And I think I just need to keep my distance, because I don't want to fall back into that pattern. And because there's a lot of affection there and that like toxic soul, almost, I want to say toxic soul recognition. It's not that, it's soul recognition, but our like relationship on this in this realm is toxic. So I just need to keep a distance from him. And I think there's a lot of love there still, you know, I would even venture to say on his end, but the love that they're capable of, again, is not the love that I'm seeking.
Right. Like, because we want that, like, deep, real, like, like, healthy. And it's hard. Like, it's hard. Because especially when you're in those cycles, like, and it's interesting, too, to look back and be like, I was in these cycles and I wasn't even aware of it. Like, I was repeating this thing, like, over. And I was like, well, I guess this is just how the world works. Like, no.
Right. Yeah.
No, it's just a lesson. You just got to learn your lesson. So
yeah, and it's only you can figure out what your lesson is, and that's not to say that you can't seek guidance, right? There are spiritual guides, there are counselors, there's like a million modalities under the sun that you can do to figure it out so that you can do better. But it is going to take effort, and you're not going to just going to the next person isn't going to help. It's like you'll find yourself repeating the dynamics, and it really does take effort. It's not something that just happens naturally. And a lot of the times I see people that think that they can just like get a new person and they'll figure it out, and you'll end up right back where you started.
Something else that I heard, which I think is really interesting, and I'd love to know what you think about this, but somebody said, I wish I knew who, I need my sources, but they said that the souls that you have like the most challenging experiences with in this lifetime are actually like the souls that like love you like the most, and like they signed up to be like, I'm gonna be this huge catalyst for you, and I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna fuck your life up, but I'm gonna do that because I love you and I want you to experience this.
Isn't that the definition of a karmic relationship though? Like the karmic relationships. So I guess I assume that people know what karmic relationships are, but no. So essentially what that is a relationship that's here to teach you a lesson, right? So it's not something, it's not a soulmate. It feels like a soulmate because you have this like deep bond and a lot of passion if it's romantic, but normally those relationships are lesson based, and they catapult you into whatever it is that you're meant for, which I think is, which is the two that I mentioned, C and D, whose names were like extreme karmics. Like that was, there was no way that they were not, because the passion and what I learned was so pivotal in my life and the choices that I'm making now. So maybe, I mean, you might be right, I don't know, but in this I would like to think you suck on in your human skin. I'm just kidding. I mean, there might be some
suit sucks.
Your meat suit sucks, and you're mean.
Yeah, you're mean.
I always used to say that to one of them. You're mean. And you're like, why do you always say that? I'm like, because you are.
Yeah. Why else would I say it? Oh, I'm just joking.
But no, I think there is something to that, and maybe that's why I don't have the ability to like hate them. Those two, I will say. I keep saying those two because the other physically abusive one, I swear. I know that there's this whole belief now, we're going on a tangent again, and you've been talking a lot about demons. There's like people that have demonic entities attached to them, and then there are people that I think embody a demon. I don't know. Yeah. That's my theory. That person embodied a demon. The other two might have a little baby demon attached to them. Because every once in a while, there's a really nice human that would pop out. You know?
Yeah. And like, I think about that too, because like my ex, like, I like literally, like, his eyes would go black at times. Oh. Like, yes.
Well, that was also probably the drugs. I'm just saying.
You're not wrong.
Dilated pupils. Those are called, it's like it's just all dilated. Pupil. B, that's called doing crack. I'm just kidding.
My bad. No, I don't have experience with that. So.
I don't either, to be fair. No, but I'm joking.
No, it's fine. It's great because like, how did I not know that this man was just like on meth? Like, what the fuck? I mean, I had never been around people on meth, but anyways, back to the demons. Like, I think like he was like the devil. Like, he embodied like a demon. Like, and it wasn't like it's. I think probably what it is, it's probably still an attachment, because if we're all souls, right, whatever, but like whatever, that's a whole topic of the podcast, but whatever, right? But if we're all souls, I think just some of them get more consumed by the demons, where it's like they're like 99% demon, whereas these other ones are like maybe 40%. Like, yeah. So it's like,
if that,
it can kind of come and go, and
I can see that.
Definitely when, like, the times that he was actively using drugs, like, 99% demon. Like,
well, yeah, that does make you more susceptible to those entities, too. So, because it lowers your vibration, right? I mean, I don't know the whole, again, this is where I really wish we had, like, a soul contract expert and how that, and demonic entities and all that. But on this level, at least, I think that we can describe it in a way that is understandable to people that might not be familiar with that. But I do think you're right. Karmic relationships in nature, they teach you the most, and maybe those souls do love us the most. But that doesn't mean that we should stick around for them. The whole point is for us to learn and then really figure out what we need to do to fulfill our life's purpose. And it is so hard, because sometimes I have this like such a strong longing, in particular for my most recent karmic whatever. And I may have mentioned it to you, but I'm working with a healer too, and I mentioned it to her. Like, for me, it's I need to learn to treat this almost as a death, in that he needs to not exist. Like, I will have love for him, I like wish him well, but I need him to not, like, I have to pretend he doesn't exist for my better, because I know that that's not the person for me. Whether he was meant to be or not, he wasn't showing up in the way that I needed him to. And even if I went back, what would we do? What would happen? The same shit. Not that it would happen, we would go back, but if we did, like, that's all that would, because that person hasn't evolved. And unless they come back but how often does that happen, right? Like, how often does somebody come back around and really have done the work?
Is that especially possible?
I don't know.
I hate to say it, but like, I've never seen it. I
would
don't know.
be very shocked. I don't think it's possible in this decade, but I'm not going to wait. I don't want to be. I'm sorry, my divine partnership is not going to happen longer than a decade from now. I could feel it in my bones. There's no way that it's not happening. I'm going to find, or we'll find each other well before a decade's up. So no, I'm not going to wait around for
And I think,
somebody
too,
who may or
like,
may not figure it out, you know?
Your divine partner, you're not going to have, like, a toxic past with them. Like,
Oh, true. That's a good point.
I think,
B.
like, you're going to have somebody who, like, is healthy, like, from the get-go. You're not going to, like, look back and be like, oh, like, we don't talk about those years. Like, that would suck.
Yeah. I know.
Just, like, straight up.
And
But, like,
all that stuff would end up coming back, like everything that had been done, all the betrayal, all the lies, all that stuff would be so hard to get over.
yeah.
You know,
it's
it would
almost,
just-
like, with lying, too, and betrayal, like, it's almost impossible. Like, those are kind of, like,
Big ones.
ends of relationships. Like, it's
Right.
it's so, because you're like, especially with like lying and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
you're always gonna wonder, are they lying? Like, are they lying
Right.
about this? Like, yeah, we like moved through this or whatever, but like, and usually like a liar's a liar. Like, they're always gonna keep lying, and because they're lying to themselves. Like, they can't even be
yes.
honest with themselves. So they're going to keep lying to everybody in their orbit, everybody they can, even on shit that doesn't fucking matter. Like, stupid
Yep.
shit. It's like, why would you even lie? Like, what's the purpose? Like, it's dumb. But liars just keep lying. And I've never met like a reformed liar.
No. Yeah. Well, I want to say, though, too, the way I've operated in relationships in the past, I have not always been, and I mean, just going to be just like full disclosure, I haven't been faithful all the time. But I wouldn't have considered myself like a liar. And I think that for me, again, I was searching for like an adrenaline rush and stuff. And when relationships were boring, I would kind of, veer off and try to find something more exciting. And so I don't know. I mean, I will say that I'm not going to operate like that. I can wholeheartedly say that. So I'm not a reformed liar, but I was shitty in relationships. So I don't know, maybe I've actually learned, right, from my mistakes. And so,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not even going to say maybe. I have learned from my mistakes, and I never, ever want anyone to feel the way that I've felt and the way that these people have made me feel. So, case in point, maybe that's why I met them. Because I truly would never want to hurt somebody in that way, or for them to feel like that. And I know that I have, and I've apologized for it endlessly to the people that I have done that to. So I don't know.
Yeah.
So let's give the liars some grace, okay? I'm just kidding.
Sorry.
I'm just kidding.
I'm like, these liars.
I'm totally kidding. It's all in. I don't think there's a one size fits all for it. But if someone's on this like lying trajectory and they're not doing anything to make themselves better, truly, like actually doing it, because there are a lot of, we're just gonna say like spiritual fuckboys. There is one particular person that's coming to mind that every time I talk to him,
I know who you're talking about.
he's like, I'm just working on being my best self. I'm like, are you though, bro? Are you working on being your best self? Because you always say that, and every time I talk to you, it's like I talk to the same person. And I don't, it's like, ick,
Makes me
I
want to
already know.
vom.
It's like he just uses that, and has like, I would imagine a roster of women, and he just goes around and he's like, I'm just working on my best self. I'm like, just stop. You're not fucking kidding me.
Just stop.
You're not fucking, like, you're not fooling anybody. Or you might be, but you're not fooling me.
Yeah.
You might be fooling a lot of people, but not me.
Would have fooled past me. She would have eaten that shit up.
She would have eaten that. You're spiritual. Ooh, that's so hot. No, take your fucking fake ass elsewhere.
Take your fake ass elsewhere.
Yes, take your fake ass
Your
elsewhere.
fake ass spirituality.
Yes, it's like, dude. Anyway, that's a whole nother. Maybe that's just a test to see how much I've grown, because he'll be like, "Hey, what's up?" I'm like, "Hey," and then he just goes silent. And then he comes back 3 days later. Hey, you want to hang out? No, probably not.
Where were you? Just working on my best self. Like, okay.
I was 3-day long meditation. I'm just kidding. He never said that.
That might actually make sense.
No, it doesn't even. But we don't fuck with that.
Nah, we don't fuck with that.
Yeah. But again, at the
Gross.
end of the day, it's really does help you put things into perspective when you realize that you've contracted everything that you are encountering, and to understand that you're here to learn something, and if you're not embodying that and on that path, then you're going to be met with resistance. You're not going to feel fulfilled. Again, we'll tie it back to anxiety, depression, and all of those things. It's a lack of alignment, and you're not listening to your soul. Mm-hmm. And I know, as we've shared in our last episode, as we've listened to our higher selves and we've actually embodied what we are meant to embody here on this earth, we've lived more fulfilling lives. We've attracted better relationships. I swear the people that are in my life are so fucking awesome. On Friday, I was just filled with so much gratitude because I was at an event and I was surrounded by the best people, and I was like, I have such fucking solid friends, and I just have what I sense, like a sense of stability. And I think it's because I have that sense of stability within myself. And I'm like, you know what? My whole life, I've been searching for this outside of a person. And I'm like starting to feel it all within myself. And that doesn't mean I don't want a partnership, but I'm practicing not living with that being my primary purpose or focus. Like, so I don't want to be like, is this it? And I'll like toy around with it a little bit, like I just did right before we were recording. I was like, hey, what do you think about this person? But it's just fun. And it's not going to be all consuming for me. For me, that first and foremost, I want to help women understand that you do not have to deal with bullshit in relationships. If you feel something's off, it's probably because it is. If you are encountering the same issues, it's because you're not learning something. And no, you don't need people to tell you, oh, you just have to settle, because if not, you're going to end up alone. Fuck that. That's bullshit. That. You will not end up alone if you desire partnership. Some people figure out that they don't want a partnership after all. I'm not one of those people, so I don't know. But you can have passion and safety. And if someone tells you you have to choose safety or passion, they're full of shit and they're just scared to be alone, so they're settling and they want you to do the same so that you can validate them, so they can think, oh yeah, see, I'm right. So that's it. I'll jump off my soapbox.
Bars.
I'm gonna jump off my soapbox now.
No, but that's so true. And like, we're on similar journeys, right? And like, I'm so grateful for the people in my life, and like, just for my life. And knowing the whole like soul contract thing, like, it just gives you peace, because you're like, okay, all of these challenges that come up, and they continue to come up. I had like the worst day yesterday. A part of me died yesterday. If I'm being like so real, I had to make a really, really difficult decision yesterday and close a really significant chapter in my life. And past me would have not been able to like get through that without getting super fucking depressed and like point of no return. And so, and it, like, not to say that it wasn't difficult, it was fucking hell, but like, knowing that there's a purpose, and knowing that when things are like removed from your life, it's to make space for something better and more aligned with your journey where you're at to come into your life, like, made it so much easier to navigate. And just like, when I think back to when I've been super depressed, there was such a lack of like purpose, because it's like, why am I here? Why am I experiencing this? Like, why am I existing? Right? Yep. And so when you know that there's a reason, even if you can't see it at that time, which is very, very challenging, it's difficult to know that there's a purpose even when you can't see the purpose or know what the purpose is, right? But knowing that there is a purpose, it changes everything, because you're like, okay, like, this fucking sucks. This sucks so fucking bad. Like, I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to make this tough decision. But I know that I need to, and I know that like I need to move through this challenge, and that there, you know, in hindsight, I will see why. Like, looking back on my like abusive relationships, like, in that time, you know, but like looking back, I'm like, okay, so that's what it was teaching me. Like, that's, I needed to experience that for these reasons now, and like to help me now and to help other people now. And it really just like, it changes everything in the best way. It
does, yeah. And it brings purpose to the pain. You understand that every emotion has some sort of it's trying to teach you something, right? All the pain. And again, we'll talk about polarity, but that's going off on a tangent. Like, you have to experience pain to really, truly appreciate happiness. And so, yeah, I would highly recommend, if you're not sure like what your purpose is and you kind of feel like you're floating and you're unfulfilled and you are, or at least open to spirituality, get a soul contract reading. That's the best place to start, I think. And then you can kind of say, okay, this is why I've experienced some of the things that I've experienced. And it puts a lot of, again, reasoning, because we all want the reason behind stuff at the end of the day. That's part of our human nature. So yeah, although you've bypassed that. So, but maybe for me, that was like you haven't had a soul contract reading and you've still managed to find yourself. So I'm not saying that is the path, but for me, that's definitely helped me at least start. I guess it was mid-spiritual journey at that point, but that again, sped it up.
I think that would have been way easier for me.
You're like,
I'm just going to go to fucking hell and walk through it and figure it out. Why the fuck I'm here.
Yeah. No, I mean, again, there's
get a reading.
different ways. Yeah.
get a reading.
And that leads me to, though, if you're making an effort and you're trying to do better, nothing that's meant for you will pass you by. Or nothing that's not meant. Wait, I messed that up.
Oh.
Wait. Nothing that's for you will pass you by. Sorry.
There we go.
I'm over here messing people up. Nothing that's for you will pass you by. So we always have this fear that you'll lose something. Not if you are making efforts to really follow the path. And you will know, because you'll have this sense of fulfillment, this sense of wholeness. This, like, your intuition will tell you. We all have intuition. It's not something that's just for gifted people.
Right. Everybody has intuition.
Everybody has intuition. Yes.
Yeah.
But yes.
Cool. Well, that's our episode.
Yeah, we really, again, just wanted to kind of touch on why the fuck we're all here, because we're all here for a reason, and it is up to you to figure that shit out.
Yeah. And if you figure it out and want to tell us, we'd love to hear it.
Yeah, hell yeah.
You can DM us on Instagram at Aligned Almost. You can follow us too if you want. We'd love that.
Yeah.
Say hey. Check out our clips. And also, if you guys are loving the podcast, we would love it if you rated us 5 stars on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. It helps us get the podcast out to more people, and the people who need to hear the message. And, you know, that's why we're here. We're just trying to help raise the collective.
Raise the collective and have more happy, fulfilled people.
Yeah. Bring more light into the world.
Yeah.
I feel like that sounds so cheesy, but I super mean it. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. No, I agree. We're two recovering we were super depressed people, and now look at us.
Yeah.
We still
only
get
slightly
sad.
Different. No, I'm just kidding.
You only find me crying every other day. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
No, I think we're
only on days that end with Y.
All jokes aside, we're doing the damn thing, and we want you to too. You too. My words are not coming out, you guys. Forgive me. You too.
It's all right. They get us. You guys get us, right?
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, until next time, just remember that none of us have it all figured out. We're just aligned. Almost.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.